Right. Hi, everybody. I'm Kelly Wilson. I'm the Director of Community Partners with Taste Local Difference. And I'm here with Jacob from Small Batch Detroit and Detroit Food Academy today. Hey, Jacob.
Going.
Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So for folks who don't know what Detroit Food Academy and Small Batch is, would you mind sharing just a little bit more about your organization?
Yeah, absolutely. So Detroit Food Academy is the most important part of that. Small Batch is a very small program piece, but Detroit Food Academy is the mothership, if you will. It's our nonprofit organization. We do cooking classes at high schools and community centers all throughout the city of Detroit. So kids learn some cooking classes, but the main crux of our organization, our main mission is to teach leadership and entrepreneurship skills, and we just use food as the medium. So yeah, right. Everybody loves food, and everybody could use a little entrepreneurship mindset moving forward too. So the program looks different all the way across from school to school, from community center to wherever we're at, depending on how the students want to how they want to learn and how they want to present a certain project. But throughout their time with us, they have a lot of different opportunities to learn and grow their culinary skills through different advanced programs we have. They can learn more entrepreneurship skills and business skills by joining part of our small batch program. And that's where I come in.
Okay.
So yeah, so the majority of our students are seeing that intro program, see real basic cooking skills, leadership and entrepreneurship. And then the longer our students and alumni stay with us, then they can join the more entrepreneurship part and focus part, which is small batch, which is my program.
Okay, so it's kind of like a third or fourth level, if you will, of the Detroit Food Academy programming is this small batch program.
Yeah, pretty much. And there's never a single pathway through it, but the main thing is students have to at least go through that intro part, because then they learn really important intro math skills. So how to expand a recipe, how to budget. We teach really important intro food safety stuff. So everybody is learning the importance of washing your hands and stuff like that now. But especially if you're working around food, we really emphasize that pretty early on. So so the kids and all those things.
Yeah, and those are great skills that are transferable across the board, just in your personal everyday life, let alone if you want to start a business. And how many kids participate in those various programs?
Yeah, quite a few. So the intro program, we usually have, we can reach up to like 1,500 students in a year. It can be, it can range quite a, and it can range quite a bit from one-offs to sorry, I have to move my environment real quickly.
It's okay. It's like, it's the times, right? Like we have to be super flexible.
So the after school program's weekly ongoing thing, we're in usually about 10 to 11 locations. So those will be anywhere between 5 students and up to 20 that see us ongoing. But we have a really awesome partnership with Quicken Loans, where we get to see every single 6th grader in Detroit Public Schools.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's a lot less engagement time with that group, but it's way earlier on in their age group, where we actually get to introduce food to them, some really basic entrepreneurship skills. So it's a really cool thing, and that's what's able to bump our numbers up to quite a bit more than the more reasonable, like 300 to 400 students that we see on a more like very regular ongoing basis.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. That's a really cool partnership, and great. Like you said, to get kids at an earlier age, you can maybe influence some patterns, earlier on, which is cool.
Yeah, and they do it based off of some type of, there's a researcher that put out that when students, not just students, but whenever people engage around the age of like 10 to 12 with certain big idea topics, even if it's not geared towards them as a career. A lot of times the gears start switching of like, oh, I could actually see me doing that. So Quicken does it with us for food, hospitality, things like that. But then they also work with like an engineering group and a tech group, and they all get to see the kids and kind of give them those experiences.
Yeah, that's super cool. That's something that that Taste Local Difference is really passionate about, is like introducing agriculture and food as a career to folks. So that's really cool that you guys are able to actively be in the schools showing examples of what that could look like. And then providing those opportunities with like small batch and what you're doing.
Yeah.
So how many people are involved in the small batch program then? I'm imagining it's like a smaller group.
Yes, yeah. So we do each year, we have a group of fully employed that are either part-time, full-time, but are with us all year round, and they help make products, but then they help us deliver programming through small batch. So so little brief overview. Small batch itself is just that program where the kids learn the entrepreneurship piece, but it revolves around products that the students come up with and sell at markets and through online and retail. And we have 3 different brands that our students get the opportunity to learn from and run, that then bring in money to then actually pay them to go through that program.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So I have I have 3 part-time that work in just production to make sure stuff's going smooth all year that are alumni. And then I have 3 managers that are alumni that have been through every step and are now actually not just running production, but implement the program for our 20 to 25 juniors and seniors in high school that are going through the small batch program.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So like any given year, we have about 30 active participants.
Okay.
And that's counting 20 to 25 group of current high schoolers that get a stipend to work production, markets, and we even pay them to go to like culinary workshops and different trainings and stuff like that.
Cool. That sounds like a really cool opportunity for them, and they get exposed to a lot of unique aspects of business.
Yeah, and for us, it's we've been trying to work a lot harder at telling the full story to them about how the products that they're making and the wages that they're earning are all to serve the purpose of giving funds back to the program that they got for free in high school. So it's nice because they can see that full cycle happening of not just it's a job opportunity, but it's, oh, every time I make this product and it sells, it provides the same free programming to kids just like me when I was in high school a year ago or something.
Yeah, it keeps that cycle going. And so the 3 products you guys have, the Mitten Bite granola bars, and and then what are the other ones?
Yeah, so Mitten Bites is what started everything. It was actually before we were even fully an after school program. We were a summer program for students for Detroit youth. Didn't even have to necessarily be a high school student, but any Detroit youth up to 24 years old to learn how to make different food products and sell them at Eastern Market. And Mitten Bites was a no-bake chocolate peanut butter granola bar that sold super well, and it became their main. Yep, still by far the favorite. And so that sparked us as a good amount of momentum to go into the after-school program. This was back in 2012. Was when we started to come around, started to actually become a nonprofit and get into schools to actually provide the in-school, after-school education piece instead of just a summer employment piece. And the students year after year would keep making the chocolate peanut butter Mitten Bite, but then would make different flavors. They would come up with chocolate zucchini muffins, habanero mango on a stick, just all huge variety of different products, just all in the sake of experimenting, learning, and getting that opportunity to see. For the most part, I think what our students learn a lot is the appreciation for what a small business owner has to go through, and they see how almost impossible it is to make money without putting everything into it and being really smart about stuff. So I grew from that with Mitten Bites, and then the whole program grew, and we didn't know where it would expand from that point of either bringing new students' products up or adopting new ones. But randomly, like by chance in the universe, we had a friend who owned a popsicle company, and she worked with our students every summer and was always just super into helping the community in a bunch of ways. And she moved and wanted to sell her popsicle company and offered it to us as like, would you guys like this brand, the product, to use it for the kids? So we brought that in about 4 years ago. So we're the Detroit Pop Shop, and we do tons of markets and weddings and catering events, giant festivals, stuff like that. And it's probably the most experimental piece. So where the students can come up with new flavors every single time, can do questionnaires, really get good feedback and stuff. Whereas the Mitten Bites and then our third product are kind of set in stone because they're so, they're actually like more revenue generating and retail focused.
Sure.
Yeah, so those were our first two, and that led us all the way up until 2 years ago. And another by chance in the universe working well, one of our board members, Shannon Byrne, who owned a local jam company, Slow Jams. She was on our board, and she shared a production facility with us while we were making our Mitten Bites, and she hired almost exclusively our students and alumni to make her products.
Local.
And she got really inspired to go back into teaching, which was her original passion, and didn't want to, again, just get rid of the company. Was wondering if we would be able to use it in quite a bunch of different ways of employing the students, giving them different opportunities for learning and things too. And so 2 years ago, we purchased the jam line from her, and we now have 13 varieties of jam that we do. 10 ounce retail in a bunch of locations, which is great. But then outside of the current situation, our main thing with Slow Jams is we make bulk jam for different restaurants and bakeries and things like that.
And Avalon uses a lot of the Slow Jams, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we have a really, really good partnership with them. They use jam for all their peanut butter and jellies. We do a bunch of partnerships with individual locations for stuff for their parfaits and stuff like that too.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. And for the Mitten Bite bars and all of those products, you source a lot of Michigan fruit, don't you?
Yeah. Yep. So the bars themselves, our original two flavors, we really wanted, no matter what our products were, we wanted something local, because we knew our mission for small batches, for it not to be a national thing. We want, if another city would have this type of mission, just copy our idea and be the Cleveland Food Academy or the New York Food Academy. Like, we don't want to stretch like the mission for Detroit. We just want people to mimic and do it in other spots. So we knew we wanted local, no matter what our products are, trying to go less like preservative heavy, less stuff you can't pronounce and things like that's always good. Our main focus was have something local. That was going to be our main selling point. So with Mitten Bites, the two original flavors, we'll always use Michigan honey. So we get our Star Thistle honey from Sleeping Bear Farms in Traverse City. And then the other flavors of Mitten Bites actually get their local flavor from Slow Jams. So we have 3 flavors of Mitten Bites that actually, instead of honey, they use flavors of jam. And all of our Slow Jams, all fruit, vegetables, and sugar, comes from the state of Michigan. So
that's so cool.
Yep.
So then are the students involved in like the sourcing side of things too? Do they get that experience and understanding like the local sourcing?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have the after school program, especially once they start to get into the advanced program. We do different years, it looks different. So sometimes we'll take them on a field trip of like in the past, our group went to Lipari wholesale distributors and got to see like everything that went into that kind of stuff. One year, the group went to Chicago and got to tour Noble Fish and some other like really large scale meat and fish distribution and packing places. And so yeah, they get to like see that piece. And then the cool part is my alumni managers, we do wages from anywhere from 15 to 17 an hour for them to manage that kitchen space. So I don't do any purchasing products or ingredients or anything anymore. My alumni manager, Diamond, Daria, and Alexis take care of everything. Like they do the shipping, distribution, all these different things. So yeah, it just shows again, like the longer you stay with us, you're just going to get tiered education pieces. And then even if you're in like the job roles, we're hoping it still leads to a little bit more growth.
For sure. And so like given that structure, have a lot of folks who've kind of graduated out of the program started their own food businesses, or what do people do typically once they leave the program?
Good question. Tons of different stuff. The only food business I know of, we had a group of like 5 of our alumni, and they were from like even different years that worked together that created their own catering company.
Okay.
And I know they still do stuff, and one of them even branched off and does his own separate solo baking catering things,
Okay.
which was awesome. And it actually, for him, it helped stem from, we do a yearly benefit dinner that fundraises for a full ride scholarship for culinary school to Schoolcraft.
Yep.
Over in Livonia. So we've had a few students that have gone and done like a full ride there, and he was our first student that went through that and then came out and started his own business out of it.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, so lots of different paths where we are never promoting people start their own food business. It's a very, very hard world to go into and stuff. Our hope is the students see that, and even if they're really interested in electronics or engineering or something, they get the lessons of what are all the steps I need to take to make sure I would have a business ready, and knowing the entrepreneurship mindset of you might have to go without making margin, or you might have to put in some extra work where you're not getting paid and stuff like that. So yeah, for us, it's give them those skills, and then wherever they want to take it.
Yeah. So food is just the training tool. It's not necessarily the end goal, but it could be, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. For us, it's useful because Detroit is pretty heavy in food, hospitality, culinary arts, and stuff like that. So outside of tech, automotive, farming, and food, it's going to be pretty hard to do it pretty practically to teach those type of lessons.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned all those delicious products that you guys make. So how can folks who are maybe watching access some of those products right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So a few different options. If you're in the Metro Detroit, Ann Arbor, and even Lansing area, we're in a lot of different retail outlets. Okay. Our absolute main partner that's helped us ever since we were a very tiny nonprofit is Whole Foods. Even since they've sold and become less local focused, they are, especially through this pandemic, they are the only consistent grocery store chain that's been carrying us. So
that's really good to hear.
Yeah. So we've been having customers reaching out and saying like, hey, I usually find you at this place, or I usually find you here. And they're not lately. And I think a lot of the stores are only bringing in products that they know they need, like tons of toilet paper, paper towel, beans. And Whole Foods has done a really good job of, the buyers were told at the start of the pandemic, think of local first, like you need to support the local companies. So you can find us at both Ann Arbor, Lansing, and all Metro Detroit for jam and mitten bites, slow jams and mitten bites. And then traditionally, when things are nice and calmed down, we're also in most Plum markets, Bushes, and Westbourne.
Okay, sure.
Yep. So a bunch of retail outlets. If you're not in Metro Detroit, or if you maybe even want it for a little bit cheaper, you can go to our website, which is www.smallbatchdetroit.com. And we have all of our varieties there. We have the mitten bites, the jam. We do gift boxes. We have aprons. A bunch of fun stuff. And then the ultimate way that you can buy it and actually go see our students and alumni and manager actually in there working is heading down to Eastern Market on Saturdays.
Oh, sure.
Yep. So we've been through the whole thing, still down there. We're usually Wayne State Markets on Wednesdays in the summer, but they've possibly canceled it for this year, if not pushed it to the fall. But yeah, that's probably the most fun way, because you'll actually see our managers and our current students down there learning how to sell the product to you, as opposed to it just sitting on the shelf.
Yeah. And so you're still going consistently to the Eastern Market despite, great. That's good.
Yeah, we've been doing good too. It's way less crowds, but also only like a quarter of the vendors. So it's it's a very different feel. But Eastern Market's been awesome through it. They've been trying to help promote us, and they've included us in pickup boxes that people can order. So so even if you don't want to be down in the market, but you want to support, we're available as an option to add on to a weekly box too.
Oh, that's good to know. So like multiple opportunities and kind of some creative ways people can order stuff too.
Yep. Yeah.
Great.
And then Pop Shop is that is just our catering toy. So it's not you won't find them anywhere, but you'll always see us at different things. Or if you work for like a large organization, or if you do like any type of caterings or pop-ups and things, still on that smallbatchdetroit.com. You can order the popsicle cart, and we do a whole bunch of fun stuff like custom flavors and names and colors and stuff. Last year we did a special ice cream popsicle for a really famous DJ that worked movement, and they like walked around with our orange popsicle carts handing out these fake ice cream bars that like matched the name of his songs. So
cool. That's super fun. The kids must have a lot of fun with that too. Like you said, that's the most space for creativity.
Yep.
That's super cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing kind of all that about Detroit Food Academy and Small Batch. I think like I learned some new things, and hopefully the folks who are watching learn some new things. And I know I love mitten bites, so this is making me think I need to go online and order some. So we'll make sure to include the link for folks too.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for helping us tell our story and getting our name out there. We love working with you guys. You're really help promote local as much as possible, which we need. So. Yeah, most definitely. Well, we appreciate you too, and our partnership. So thanks for spending time with me this afternoon, and hopefully you get to, it's still sunny out, so hopefully you get to enjoy the rest of the afternoon and the good weather. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. Take care. Bye, Jacob. Have a good one.